Hello and welcome back to NoBS. Today we return to talking about the United States presidential election, which is currently ongoing here in America. Specifically, we're going to talk about how big tech has been censoring things and trying to favor Joe Biden and the Democrats. That's right, it's pretty obvious that big tech has been in the bag for the left for a while now, but as the election gets nearer, we're getting more and more proof that this is true day by day. Specifically, last week we talked about how the whole Hunter Biden story came out, the story about Joe Biden's son being corrupt, getting jobs because of his dad, Joe Biden possibly getting kickbacks from big jobs that he gave his son. And this story broke and it was immediately censored by both Twitter and Facebook. Twitter blocked the link from being shared and Facebook started removing accounts who shared it. They took down major Trump accounts in response to this. They took down Trump's press secretary's account, a member of the White House staff, and also they took down the Trump campaign account. Now, I'm not sure how long they were suspended or removed for, but I do know that the New York Post, who broke that story, as of recording this video, they're still locked out of their Twitter account. And this is a story broken by a very classic, long-running American paper. It's been going for 200 years, but for some reason, this new startup Twitter company, who's been around for about 15, they think they know better and they think they can fact-check things better. And I'm just sitting back here wondering, who gave big tech all this authority? Who said they could be the judge, jury, and executioner? Who said they were the arbiters of truth? Who gave them the right to control media like this? I know they run their own private websites, and the argument that the left gives is they have a right to control it. But when they get this involved, when they become such intricate parts of our daily lives, they carry the news, they transfer information, they operate public squares, you really got to question that and think about how they're trying to meddle in this election. They tried to accuse Trump of this. They tried to act like Russia pushed for Trump and they cheated on the internet somehow last year. But at the same time, they're doing it right in our faces this year, like so obvious, so brazen, so pathetic, really. I mean, it's not just big tech either. There's mainstream media has been biased, trying to attack Trump, trying to help Biden limp him across the finish line. And they did this at the debates too. The debates were really in favor of Biden. They tried to change the rules even. They wanted to make a virtual debate to help Biden. Now they have a mute button that they're going to use on Trump for the next debate that's coming later this week. So it's been a big mess. The election is coming up. We're about 2 weeks out. Early voting has started. And that's why I want to talk more about this big tech bias and their censorship and potential election meddling. As you can see by this article, this is a study that's being presented by the Washington Times. It says Facebook, Twitter censored Trump campaign 65 times, Biden 0. So a big difference here. This is a big difference between what's going on between the two campaigns. Again, it reminds me of another realm. During the debates, Trump was interrupted many times by the moderator, but Biden was let go. He could speak, he could talk about what he wants, but the moderators interrupt Trump, cut him off, don't let him finish. They also overly challenge him on silly issues that aren't important while ignoring major issues in the Biden side. Like, Biden has never been asked questions about his son's corruption. They don't try to blame him for Antifa and BLM, which are happening in the Democratic Party. Biden acts like he's the head of the Democratic Party, but he lets all these violent people destroy our cities underneath him. And that's really the case, and that's what we're dealing with, and that's why things are getting so crazy. Facebook and Twitter have censored President Trump and his campaign accounts at least 65 times in the last 2 years, while Democratic presidential nominee Joseph R. Biden and his camp have never been dinged, according to a report released Monday. The Conservative Media Research Center's Tech Watch department found that the tech giants had a decidedly lopsided approach to the presidential candidates and their campaigns when it comes to flagging and axing their content. The biggest discrepancy came with Twitter, which accounted for 98% of the censorship incidents against the Trump camp from May 2018 to October 2020. The analysis did not include ads from PACs or super PACs. So this is already really bad, really striking information. And it's not totally surprising either. I mean, I think we all know this bias is there at this point. The left and the mainstream media and big tech, they try to deny it, but it's a fact. We're just coming out with actual research and evidence. I mean, just think about it. 65 times the Trump side was basically censored or taken their posts down, but it never happened to Democrats, not even once. You'd think it at least happened once accidentally. And in addition, we've seen some of the stuff the Democrats have pushed. We've seen them lie and make up stories and push fake quotes about Trump. Everyone knows there's that very fine people hoax that even Biden himself has pushed. So I'm sure there were some posts or articles or videos about that could have easily been flagged as misinformation misinformation, and that would have been a proper misinformation flag. It would have been a lie that you could have proven, but I'm not asking for that either. I don't care about censoring the left. I don't care about censoring everyone. I think people should just be able to post what they want. I think censorship is really overblown, and it comes from PC culture and liberals trying to control the narratives. They pretend they're trying to get the facts out there and make sure misinformation or people aren't scared or getting bad information. But the truth is, they don't have good justification. You don't need to remove posts all the time. You don't need to delete accounts all the time, even. I mean, unless you find someone breaking the law, that's the most specific thing. And the only thing I think that people should be able to remove posts for, in my opinion, I'm a bit of a purist. I might even be considered like a libertarian on this issue. But my point is, if you're not breaking a law, if you're an upstanding citizen who's free, who's not in jail, not under investigation even, if you're like that, then you should be able to post things. And if those posts don't break the law, then they should stay up. Now, if you're posting something that's illegal, like threatening someone's life or whichever is illegal, slander stuff or something like that, I know there are some instances where it's illegal to lie or discredit someone, but those need to be brought forth to a court. A court should be seen about this, and it shouldn't be the tech giants who control everything, because they're just going to say everything's misinformation that they don't like. They're going to take down all the Republican stuff and say, oh, this is a lie, this is slander, this is misinformation, whatever their excuse is. And the problem is they don't have any culpability. They don't tell you where their reasoning comes from. They just make up these long, convoluted terms of service, and then they use that to take down posts. And it's really just a scam. It's really just a trick, because they know that those posts aren't going to hurt anyone. We're talking about text posts on Twitter or a video going up on another website. We're talking about people posting pictures and images and memes and GIFs, and this stuff isn't going to hurt anyone. If it does break a law, bring it to the court, get the court to remove it. That's the way it should go. It should be brought to the public square. It should be out in the open. The rules need to be handled out there, not in the big tech little circles in their companies that are shadowy, and they don't tell you why they take stuff down, and they just go and take down things willy-nilly because they just are power hungry and they're getting so emboldened they don't care anymore. Twitter has been far and away the biggest offender, labeling fact-checking and removing Trump's tweets and the tweets from his campaign account 64 times since the president's election, the report said. Tweets about the president's concern over mail-in voting, COVID, and the Black Lives Matter protests have been given public interest notice. The report follows an outcry over the crackdown on New York Post bombshell stories on emails reportedly taken from the laptop of Hunter Biden, dealing with his financial relationships with the Ukrainian natural gas company Burisma and a Chinese energy firm. So, I mean, that's just sketchy right there, right? Why is Hunter Biden making these deals with Ukraine and China? Why is Joe Biden getting his son job in a country that he's supposed to be in charge of foreign relations for? Joe Biden bragged about getting a prosecutor fired who was investigating this company that his son worked for. Then he said the new guy was a good guy. He's a stand-up guy, basically saying, oh, this guy's going to go along with us. He's going to let us go. It's just absolutely insane. And it's crazy that that's not getting covered. They're more concerned about Trump talking and giving honest, reasonable concerns about mail-in voting or talking about the pandemic or something like that. He always gets those little labels or tweets taken down all the time. They remove his videos. The left never faces that. They're coddled. They're propped up. They're just fake news. They can't stand on their own. They're weak. That's what's going on here. Trump is strong. The right-wingers have the truth and facts and the world on our side. Like the real world, the real people understand conservatives and us. We're trying to save this country. We're trying to help. Trump could be working for his corporation right now. He doesn't need this worry and this burden, but he took it on himself. He's losing money to do this. Meanwhile, Biden is losing money because he's not in office right now, and he needs to get back in office so he could start stealing money again and hiring his son and taking bribes from foreign nations and doing all this stuff. I mean, God forbid Biden becomes president. I mean, who else is he going to take money from? Who else is going to get bribes and give them to the Biden family and get them a new mansion, get his son a new job? His son has a very, very expensive bad habit with illegal narcotics, so I'm sure he's dying for more money right now. And that's why it's super worrisome to see them get supported by big tech. The Post's Twitter account has been locked since October 14th, and users have been prevented from sharing the stories. Facebook spokesman Andy Stone, a former Democratic operative, said last week that the platform would reduce their distribution pending fact check. Big tech's bias is clear and obvious. This comes from Media Research Center. There's more if you read the comments. You could click here. It shouldn't come as a surprise that Twitter has made the decision to censor major headlines about the Biden family, particularly when it came came to the New York Post story about Hunter Biden's dealings with Ukraine, the MRC report said. Memes have also taken a hit. A popular meme showing a photo of Mr. Trump pointing at the camera with the caption, "In reality, they're not after me, they're after you, and I'm just in the way," was removed after being retweeted on June 30th. The meme was replaced with the message, "Media not displayed." The image has been removed in response to a report from the copyright holder. In addition, the Team Trump campaign account has had 4 videos removed, including a pro-life video pegged to the January 2020 March for Life that was replaced with the message, "This media may contain sensitive material." Twitter later said the warning was attached in error on the video, which featured couples with newborn babies and a pregnant woman viewing an ultrasound, was later removed and removed the label. So it's always an error. They pretend they messed up. It just happens to be that they have these errors for Trump's side only. Always fact-checking Trump is what they call it. Fact-checking is this new fake news term when really they act like, it's like fake news. Fake news is a term that's been popular since 2016. Fact-checking is their new term that they use. They pretend that they're the arbiters of fact and the truth when they're really not. They're just removing posts that make their side look bad. They don't like strong arguments against them. They can't face them head on. They're weak. They can't argue. They can't make points. They have to cheat like this. It's super sad. It's super messed up. And it just goes to show how pathetic and how desperate the left has become. That about wraps things up. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you comment your thoughts on everything below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed what you saw. Subscribe if you're new, and see you on the next video. Have a good one.